Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Jamaica bracing for rains as tropical storm develops. Political opposition heightens call for health minister to resign. And later in sports, world relays postponed. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters. Here are the details. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for Jamaica as Tropical Storm Lisa has now developed from the area of disturbed weather south of the island. This means that tropical storm conditions continue to pose a possible threat to Jamaica. At 10 a.m. today, the center of Tropical Storm Lisa was located 160 miles south of Rocky Point in Clarendon, Jamaica. Now, Lisa is moving towards the west near 14 miles per hour. A westward to west-northwestward motion is expected over the next few days. On the forecast track, the center will continue moving south of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands today and tomorrow before approaching Central America on Wednesday. Lisa could therefore become a hurricane over the northwestern Caribbean Sea by Wednesday. Fishers on the Keys and Banks are being reminded to exercise extreme caution at this time due to dangerous sea conditions associated with Tropical Storm Lisa, as it's now moving over Jamaica's southern offshore waters. The Met Service says residents should be on the alert for possible flash flooding in flood-prone areas. Calls are growing louder for Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to resign following the deaths of more than a dozen babies from a bacterial outbreak at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Members of the People's National Party staged a demonstration at the Spanish Town Hospital this morning. Sandra Williams reports.
Scores of protesters led by the opposition People's National Party (PNP) gathered at the Spanish Town Hospital in St. Catherine Monday morning in a united front.
Him need to go and go now! No! Must go! Tufton must go!
Their call follows the dead baby crisis at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital between July and October this year. A bacterial outbreak at the facility led to the death of 14 newborns during that period. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton had revealed that the Prime Minister was only advised of the matter last Wednesday and that the Cabinet at the time had not been informed. But the PNP describes Dr. Tufton's failure to share the information sooner as disrespectful.
I cannot imagine that he's saying that the Prime Minister of the country cannot deal with certain information. It could not be that that is what he said. Because if he holds on to the information by himself, doesn't inform his cabinet, doesn't inform his Prime Minister, doesn't inform the country, that to me is a huge disrespect to his leader, to his cabinet, and to his country.
I believe that Mr. Tufton could let us know that yes, we have 11 or 12 kids dead. We don't know the cause of death as yet, but we are waiting on a post-mortem examination and a result to tell the public what is the cause of death. But I believe that he should have notify the public. You can't have things that sweep it underneath the carpet continually like that.
And according to the PNP, a similar incident has happened before under Dr. Tufton's watch.
Some years ago, we had an outbreak at Jubilee. It was as serious as the morgue would have overflowed. Dogs had the carcasses of these dead babies all over the compound of the Kingston Public Hospital. Dogs. And, he should have learned from that, but he has not learned.
Meanwhile, some demonstrators dressed in black to express their sympathy to the parents who lost newborns in the incident.
I can feel their pain, and I can understand how gut-wrenching it would have felt losing a newborn child.
Mayor of Spanish Town Norman Scott believes the deaths could have been avoided.
The minister could have done several things. He could have closed the section of the hospital and take all of those patients and pregnant mothers to several other hospitals in Jamaica. He could have also tried to find out what is the real cause of this problem, and nothing of that nature was done.
And I think it's a gross dereliction of duties of a minister, and it begs the question, should he stay on or should he resign? I think it's everything to do. is to resign.
I hear the spirit of a little dead baby crying. Tufton go! Tufton go!
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, political commentator and attorney-at-law Kenyatta Powell says calling for the resignation of Dr. Christopher Tufton is pointless. He believes the call by the opposition is only to score political points. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106 on Monday, Mr. Powell says what needs to be addressed is the health facilities across the island to prevent any recurrence of such magnitude. Details in this report. Since the revelation of the deaths of 14 babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, there have been numerous calls from the opposition for Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to resign or be sacked by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. But at least one attorney believes such a move will not be beneficial. Attorney-at-law and political commentator Kenyatta Powell says what needs to be looked at are the policies and guidelines that govern the health facility and if they were breached. Now, despite Health Minister Dr. Tufton acknowledging the deaths and stating that a shortage of resources was a contributing factor, Mr. Powell believes the action by the minister was an act of cover-up.
If Dr. Tufton had anything to do with it, we would probably have never even heard about that there was this, infectious outbreak and that people's children, babies had died. So I don't take the minister's explanation about, nothing was said publicly and the cabinet and the prime minister were not briefed because, I thought, we were well on our way to addressing the situation.
So you are suggesting then that there was an attempt to cover up?
Yeah, I'm suggesting that there's an attempt to cover up.
In the meantime, Mr. Powell says a further investigation is needed to examine how the budget cuts have impacted the delivery of health care.
A country like Jamaica that's been implementing a form of austerity now. We've had a sort of bipartisan austerity government for a solid decade now, right? So, what is the result of that kind of cutting? That kind of focus on the macroeconomic numbers and bringing down spending and that kind of and that sort of ethos, that approach to running a national economy. What is the effect of that on critical services?
Taxi operators in Savannah, Lamar, Westmoreland are breathing a sigh of relief after the authorities gave them the green light to continue using the downtown area of the parish capital. But as you'll hear in this report from Kirk Wright, the taxi operators have been given a probationary period to either follow the rules, making the arrangement permanent, or break the rules and have it scrapped.
Taxi operators whose routes terminated in Savannah, Lamar, Westmoreland were given a 1-month trial to see if they will abide by the traffic rules and prevent undue congestion in the parish capital. That decision came out of a meeting with the police, Municipal Corporation, Transport Authority, and the National Works Agency, NAA. Chairman of the National Council of Taxi Operators Business Committee, Patrick Forrester, says the operators are elated at their decision.
Words cannot express how good I am feeling about the outcome. It has been very fruitful, the discussions that we had, because they have really looked into the issues and they have, came up with amicable agreement and solutions. So we are very much appreciated.
On October 18, the police instituted a system called the Public Order Reset, which involved preventing taxi operators from picking up and dropping off passengers in the downtown area of the parish capital. This, they say, was to prevent congestion in the town. But last week, the taxi operators staged a massive protest against this and called for leniency. Now the operators are being urged to do the right thing now that they are being permitted to go back into the town.
We need to police each other. We need to ensure that this thing works, because we need to have a situation that we can go downtown.
Be as compliant as you can. Use your discretion with using the roadway. As it relates to your road license, where you sit down and where you pick up. Do it in a convenient way. Do not obstruct other motorists or pedestrians or businesses, because we don't want to be plagued by this again. We want to use this as a test that will pass, and the authorities can say to us, yes, it will work.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
The United Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, UCJCI, which operates the Oberlin High School in St. Andrew, is intensifying efforts to restore normality at the institution. It comes after a bizarre religious episode at the institution on Wednesday, which saw some students fainting and acting strangely. Now, in a statement over the weekend, the UCJCI said a support team, including ministers, has been deployed to the school. It said the team has been providing counseling and has been meeting with parents, students, staff, and other stakeholders. The church is also reassuring parents and guardians that every effort is being made to return operations to normal at the institution. The construction of a fully equipped Information and Communications Technology ICT room is expected to position young students at the Old Harbour Primary School in St. Catherine for new job opportunities and help address challenges of internet and device access. But as Krista Campbell now reports, school administrators also hope it will address the need for more schools in the fast-growing town of Old Harbour.
The signing of a partnership agreement between the Digicel Foundation and the Education Ministry for an ICT room to be built at the Old Harbour Primary School in St. Catherine. The room is expected to be done in the next 3 months and is budgeted to cost $50,000. It will be fully equipped with air conditioning, 24 devices, a printer, and free fiber internet for the next 2 years.
Each device, that's a laptop or a tablet, will be attached to a headset so that a child can still collaborate in the space without affecting another. The smart screen will be there for the teacher. That will enable for interaction. You would have mentioned that you want to increase your numeracy and literacy. That smart screen has a lot of potential and capabilities for adding that value.
Digicel Foundation CEO Charmaine Daniels is looking forward to the impact on career choices, especially for the young boys at the school.
It's a natural fit for them, and you'll see them going on the board and doing the word games and doing the fractions and all those things, whereas before, if you have them in a class with a paper and pen, they're probably making a slingshot and shooting paper, right? So, right, making ship and making airplanes. So that's one of the things that we're going to be measuring and looking at is really what are the career choices that kids are talking about now. So when I come back, say March, I'm going to see, are they still talking about the same career choices? Are their minds open now to what they can do with technology and to the apps they can create and the games?
While grateful for the investment, the school's board chairman hopes it will also open the door for the space shortage issues at the school to be addressed. Ramond Fisher says as the town of Old Harbour continues to grow with rapid housing developments, the school has to be turning back students who want to enroll.
I see the need for new schools. I see we also are in the process of acquiring a basic school department, which we don't have now. So we don't have that feeder school to feed students from that tender age into the primary school. So sometimes when we get them, they are a little bit coming from different backgrounds, different communities, not properly molded how we want them to be. And at this time, we're also seeking support in building a basic school block.
As for the school's security,
we've just installed some new security systems, some cameras, and we have our 24-hour watchman, which the ministry has able to provide us with, and the school has also supported in those aspects. We do from time to time do our necessary security measures where we put in grill works and safety features.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
And for the latest in the world of business, here's Codian Barrett with the Business Minute.
Michael Leachin Jr. has ventured into an online business that offers loans to the unbanked and others facing challenges in accessing credit. The venture, launched as SeedJA.com, is a group of financial, technological, and marketing communications professionals. According to the company, it is looking to redefine the way loans work by creating an inclusive service system that does not discriminate by socioeconomic status, but is based on customer needs and wants. In international business, Shanghai Disney has become the latest high-profile venue to shut its gates thanks to China's strict zero-COVID policy, trapping visitors inside. People have been told they will not be allowed out of the theme park until they can show a negative test. It comes after Shanghai reported 10 local transmitted cases on Saturday. China's controversial zero-COVID policy has already seen millions of people repeatedly locked down, sometimes in unusual locations. The sudden nature lockdowns have seen people fleeing shops, including a Shanghai branch of Swedish furniture giant IKEA, and workplaces as they try to avoid being trapped inside. That's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody-Ann Barrett.
And it's now time for the top regional and international stories. Here's Sandy Williams.
In the region, the Guyana Police Force has launched a major investigation following reports that a private jet was broken into while at the Chadijagan International Airport. The plane was parked close to the anchor of the Guyana Defense Air Corps after its crew and passengers left for their two-day visit. On Friday, when the pilot arrived to prepare for their departure, the main door of the aircraft was found to be breached and was left slightly open. An alarm was raised and it was discovered that several small items, including liquor and other drinks, were missing from the aircraft. There was no damage to the aircraft, but the incident has renewed cause for increased security at the airport. On the international scene, the death toll from a collapsed bridge in the Indian state of Gujarat has risen to at least 134 people. Several others remain missing since the incident. Authorities on Monday said that while 7 people remain hospitalized, 56 others have been discharged after receiving treatment. Officials estimate some 200 people were on the bridge when it collapsed on Sunday. Search and recovery teams are combing the river to find people who are still missing. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
That's the Midday News. I'm Shane Masters. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, have a good afternoon.